I've lost the ability to think clearly. Nothing else seems to be wrong. People were walking around outside for a while, investigating the sirens that were suddenly blaring. The sirens had been there for as long as anyone in town could remember. They were just seen as a town quirk, maybe some kind of remnant from the paranoia of the Cold War. Before yesterday, they had never gone off. I saw people try to take down the sirens, destroy them, anything to make them stop. Eventually, and without fail, each person gave up. Not that it would do much good if they were able to take one down. There were so many. The option to leave the town would be a valid one if the roads weren't barricaded. No one left in this town knows why or when this happened. Each road out of town was now blocked. Military-grade barricades put up to prevent anyone from entering or leaving. And the sirens continue to blare. I'm almost worried what would happen when they stop. Melissa has no idea what her salary is, and this is the way she's been living her life for a long time. I came to find out that Melissa has no idea what her salary is because I asked her once at work, and she expressed to me that she doesn't know. I was completely surprised by this, and I didn't even understand. I really didn't understand why she wouldn't know her own salary. And I kept asking her questions, like, she lives like this, lives like that. Melissa seemed content in her life though. I'm the type of person, I gotta know how much I'm getting paid down to the penny. Then I realized that Melissa definitely does not know how much she's getting paid, because sometimes she can afford things, and other times she can't. Like when we go out, and sometimes she's able to buy stuff, and other times she can't. She's literally hoping for the best that she can afford things sometimes. She can buy something expensive, and other times she cannot buy anything cheap. I keep telling her that this is no way to live, that she has to find out exactly how much she's getting paid. I was just completely dumbfounded. How she can live like that? How's she gonna live like this and then get more answers? Her husband got out of this job because he's a real good friend with the owner of the company. They know each other from childhood, but it still didn't explain how she doesn't know how much she gets paid. She can't just blindly just hope she can pay for things and guess how much her salary is. I wanted more answers, but at the same time I started to feel I was being a bit too nosy. And I told myself to just stop. Just stop. Also, with the husband being real good friends with the owner, wouldn't he be worried about his wife not knowing her salary? Then Melissa told me that her husband controls her finances, and he had a word with his good friend, the owner and employer of Melissa, to send all money to his account even though it's Melissa's. That works at the company. I was shocked. I was shocked to learn of this and told Melissa how this is abusive and completely wrong. Her salary should come into her account, not her husband's account. And her husband knows all about her bank account, and details and passwords and all, and limits her spending whenever he wants by how much he feels she needs. I told her she must tell her husband how wrong this is. And Melissa told me that she will confront him about it. And I never saw Melissa after that. And when 2 months went by, I asked my employer where Melissa was. And he told me he had no idea, and she just ghosted the job. Something felt off, and I need to find out about what happened to Melissa. I hope she's okay. I've been known by many names through the centuries. Jack the Ripper, the Zodiac, being the most notorious of my aliases. Every century I try to find the perfect victim, the one to complete me and make me whole. I don't know why I yearn so much for this mystery person, yet it is a feeling that has persisted within me for centuries. The day I discovered that I was immortal was the day I felt a connection to another like me. And for 2,000 years I searched the entire globe looking for them, but finding nothing. Whoever this person was had a talent for hiding, but they couldn't hide forever. By the 21st century, I had a new means of searching, and when I found Facebook, I hit the jackpot. A young woman named Elizabeth. I felt a connection to her instantly upon seeing her beautiful smiling face on her profile picture. She was the one, I was certain. It didn't take much searching to find her address. The digital age will never cease to amaze me. Within an hour I was driving to her place to say hello. Alyssa back. The sensation has returned. The force in my brain telling me to run. Run as far away as I can. The only description I could give to the feeling is impending doom. Like a train heading straight towards me at full speed. It has been so long since I felt it this strong. Had I even felt it this strong before? I don't know who or what is coming, but I can feel them getting nearer. And my senses are going into overdrive. Oh, the doorbell rang, making me almost jump out of my skin. I slowly crept towards the door, and my heart pounded away inside my chest. I hesitantly opened the door. The Immortal. Alyssa opened the door cautiously as she stared at me through the small crack in the door. Can I help you? Alyssa said. I've been searching for you my whole life. You don't know how happy this day has made me, I replied, unable to hide the smile on my face. She didn't reply. She just stared at me with a distrustful look. I also noticed that she was constantly rubbing her head, no doubt from the connection pounding away at her senses. You going to let me in or what? I said. Leave me alone, she replied. As she tried to slam the door in my face, I pushed all my weight into the door, knocking her back. I searched for you my whole life. Do you really think I would let you hide from me again? I said, before chuckling. Alyssa has a new home now, with me, and she won't be running or hiding anymore. Not after I cut her arms and legs off, making her my personal pincushion. She'll be my plaything for centuries to come. Aye. Hehe. It's been a few weeks since I told the world about my experience in the school. I've done many things since then. I grew up, obviously, and I've become a horse rancher. Despite my looks, I managed to find a romantic partner too. She was beautiful in every way. And God, was she smart. Anyway, it was a normal night. 2 nights ago. Me and my wife sat on the porch watching our kids play. It was 8 at night. But since we were on our own land and in the middle of nowhere, we weren't disturbing anyone. We told them they had 10 minutes before they had to take a shower, and 9 minutes later they said they wanted to take a family picture because the stars looked so pretty and they thought it would be a good background. I knew this wasn't true. They weren't slick. They knew their mom was a photo perfectionist and they would be out for another 10 minutes at least. But after the first photo, her eyes went wide. She yelled at us to get inside. I thought she just realized what they were doing, but she seemed very distressed for something as small as that. The kids went to brush their teeth and she grabbed me by the shoulder before I could follow them. There's something out there. There's a lot of things out there. No, something large and most likely dangerous. I doubt that. The property is fenced in. You know. Then she showed me the photo she took. And she was right. There was something behind us. All you could see was the glare of its eyes from the camera's flash. I told her it was probably a bear, but we both knew I didn't think that. It was too big. And the glare of the eyes were red. I propped up a chair against the door. I didn't think it would do much against something as large as the thing in the picture. We managed to get the kids to sleep before they realized something was wrong. Then we went down to the kitchen and looked at the picture again. Then we heard it. I grabbed our shotgun. Although I had never shot at something in self-defense before, had my wife be ready to open and close the door real quick. She calmed my nerves. I told her to open the door. She opened, and I shot 5 times. She closed it after I stopped and immediately put the chair back. I knew I had hit it at least once or twice. I looked out the window, thinking it would be lying there, dying, but it was gone. And then I made the mistake of turning the exterior floodlights on. 8 of them. Whatever they were, right outside my house. I looked for about 4 seconds before turning the lights off and slamming the curtain shut. These things weren't animals that I had ever seen, but they closely resembled wolves, but even larger. They had dark gray fur with black manes and snow white paws. Cute. They were at least 10 feet long. But then there was the head. Oh God. God, the head. They seemed like they were smiling almost, the corners of their mouth reaching back to their ears, teeth and bare jaws showing the entire way. I made a mistake. I alerted them. They were all going to attack now. I sprinted to the garage to get the boards to cover the windows and doors. I covered the downstairs first, and then the upstairs. I thought if I could barricade them out, we could wait till help arrived. I called 911 once I had finished boarding up all the windows and doors, but there wasn't any service. The water also cut. So we couldn't wait it out forever now. Things were quiet for a good while, and then the crying started. Not the kids, but the creatures. It wasn't crying like a dog, but like a human. It got louder and louder, eventually turning into a wail. I mean, wailing. By the time it stopped getting louder, it was a sound that wasn't describable in one word. It sent chills down my spine and made my blood curdle. The kids were awake now. They had been awake for a while, ever since I shot that gun, and they were terrified. Everyone was. The howling stopped, but silence didn't come either. Scratching the entire house was filled with the sound of scratching at the windows and doors. All of us went silent to try to find where they were scratching at so we could move away, but it seemed equally loud everywhere we went. So we just took shelter in the middle of the second floor. I had an idea. Maybe, just maybe if we were fast enough, we could run to the truck and peel out of there. I whispered the idea to my wife. She didn't like it, but agreed it was our best chance. It was 11 p.m. by now. We didn't know how fast they were, but we agreed that it was better than sitting here and waiting to die. I peeked out the curtain near the front door despite boards I put up, but it was large enough to see there were no creatures on the porch. We ran. We ran right behind the kids. The kids had gotten in the truck. I had gotten in the driver's seat. But by the time my wife's running around the front, it was too late. The creatures were here. She got swept. She got swept up by one of them right after she screamed at me to drive away with the kids. I knew I couldn't do anything. I put the pedal to the metal and shot down the small driveway that led to the highway. They were howling again, but it started as that impossibly loud wailing that we heard before. It was getting louder. I looked in the rear view to see the monsters right behind me. I didn't get to see their eyes at the house, but the eyes were the worst. They were dark mahogany. Dark mahogany eyes with white pupils. I could never forget them. It's almost as if they were burned into your soul when you see them. I was almost to the main road. I've been driving for what felt like years away from these things. Then the howling stopped and something else began. A calling for help. Jeremy, help! Please, Jeremy! An extremely scratchy voice and inhumanely loud. It almost sounded like my wife, but it just a little off. It had eaten my wife though, and then I realized the horrible truth. It was using my wife's voice. I got to the main road and beelined it to the city. I didn't stop speeding until I saw another vehicle and the sound had completely stopped. Once we were in the city, I drove to my mom's house and tried to tell her what happened. The kids were too shocked to even cry about their mom's death. I couldn't form a full sentence without having to take a breath because of the hyperventilation I had been experiencing. The next morning, the kids had slept very little. At least they had slept. I hadn't been able to stop thinking about the horrible calls of the monster, using my wife's voice to lure me back to the evil thing. The burning eyes, the never-ending smile that they always held. It was all fresh in my mind. My mom called the cops, and they investigated the property. Nothing was found. I don't mean evidence of the creatures or my wife getting ripped apart, but anything at all. According to their reports, get this, the road was overgrown with brush and other plant life. When they finally got to where the house should have been, they found a pile of rotting wood and nothing else. No tire marks, no paw prints, no anything. It was like the property had been launched 100 years in the future and no one went there in that time. If anyone remembers attending a party or something on the lines at 71098 Lakes Drive, please tell me. No one seems to remember being at that house except for me and my kids. Even my mom says I'd never lived in the country and have always lived with her. No one will listen, no matter what I say to them. I wrote this record just in case I don't get to verbally retell this story. Why wouldn't I be able to verbally tell the story again, you ask? Because I can hear them again. Annie was tending to the garden when she heard the commotion inside the palace. Moments later, dozens of workers burst outside in panic. "Terrorist! Save yourselves!" screamed someone in tears. 2 workers were carrying the limp body of a third one. His abdomen was split open, and guts were starting to pour out. When they saw their comrade's fate was sealed, they let go of him bluntly. "The Queen! The Queen was killed!" someone shouted. Annie saw her favorite brother being roughly escorted by a guard. She managed to avoid the crowd and gestured at him. "Is it true, Andrew? Is Mom dead?" Not stopping, Andrew grabbed his sister and hurried away. The maids went mad, and one of them stabbed Mom. I was in the chamber too. They almost got me, but I escaped. We have to go. They were right behind us. The guard tried to push them ahead faster when a sharp dagger erupted through his thorax. Blood splashed on Andrew's face. The insane maid on her prey and fell with him. Another lunatic was already dashing for the siblings. Annie and Andrew dodged her weapon and escaped as fast as they could. Annie abruptly turned behind a huge tree. "I know a way to lose her in the garden." But they were faster than the maid, but after reaching a section of the garden full of yellow begonias, they could barely breathe. They hid in the flowers. The siblings were able to hear the defense drones flying above their palace. Clearly, their surprise attack was a massive one. Could a foreign power have infiltrated the palace? No. The Queen personally oversees all of her subject. She would know. The crazy maid entered the area, seeming unshaken by the chase. Come out, wherever you are, little ones. Come out, wherever you are, little ones." Her dark gaze snapped at Anna. "There you are. I might not be able to kill both, but honestly, either one of the Queen's beloved last-borns is enough for me. Others will follow our proud cause. This family will be exterminated, and our Queen will take control of this region." She advanced toward the sibling, slowly readying her blade. 2 enormous forms came down at incredible speed, instantly squashing the maid to mere pulp. Annie and James gasped in a mix of relief and fear. "Oh no, they're here too! Quick, fly up!" It was too late. The form struck again, slaughtering both royal siblings. When Timothy opened his hands and the bodies of the 2 bees fell down and disappeared through the yellow flowers, the kid enthusiastically hopped toward an older man. "Daddy, I just got 3 bees!" The man frowned. "Timmy, bees are important. You don't need to hurt them. Look at all these pretty flowers. They wouldn't be as beautiful without the bees, and we wouldn't have as much food without them, too." The boy lowered his head in shame. "Sorry, Daddy." The dad took his son's hand, and they walked back to the playground. High on the tree, buzzing sounds still echoed around the nest. Usually, it's sporadic. Here and there, I'll write about how I'm feeling about X, Y, and Z. I'll say how many days I've managed to stay sober. I'll talk about the mountains and trails I've been on. I'll write about dreams I've had and friends and family members. I'll write out the goals I have and my current weight and measurements. I'll write out quotes I heard that motivate me. Sometimes I'll write out when my friends are being actual see you next Tuesdays to me and how hurtful they can be sometimes. But one day, I saw something written on my journal that shouldn't be there. I live alone, and I thought my journal was my private place. I mean, it's embarrassing to write about struggles with alcohol and that I only got two days sober before caving again. It's so shameful. I should have my life together more by now. But anyways, someone wrote, "Keep going. Don't give up," next to an entry where I berated myself for being hungover at work. I know I didn't write it. It was not my writing, and it was in purple ink. The thought of someone gaining access to my journal made me want to puke. That's personal stuff, you know. That's the one place in life you can spill the tea without consequences. But the thought of someone gaining access to my home where I thought my journal sat safely on its shelf made me terrified. I've read stories about people gaining access behind false walls or attics, and I started looking at my attic door and bathroom mirror with suspicion. Eventually, I just figured a friend might have written a message of encouragement when I had them over, and they snooped, so I forgot about it. But then today, I got another message, and I haven't had anyone over in a while. I had written about how lonely I was living alone a couple days ago. I was feeling down, that everyone was married, moving on with their lives, while I was still stuck in trauma after an abusive girlfriend, and I simply didn't want to commit to anyone. It was kind of an embarrassing entry, where I was feeling sorry for myself and whining and complaining about feeling stuck. Then today, I was feeling strong and myself again, and I reopened my journal to write something positive for once. But there was another note in the purple ink that scrawled, "You're not alone." I ran out of my house and just typed this up now. Not sure if I should call the cops or what, but I am absolutely terrified and will be sleeping anywhere near my house. Correction, won't be sleeping anywhere near my house. Not tonight. I'm also feeling weary of staying with any friends. I'm just going to go to a hotel. Yeah, I don't trust anyone right now.